Hi everyone, and welcome to Closer Look, Wider World. In today's modern military landscape, power beneath the ocean's surface is becoming a decisive factor in determining a nation's global status. And when it comes to underwater dominance, nothing is more formidable than a nuclear-powered submarine fleet. Those elusive ghosts of the deep, capable of delivering devastating force in a matter of seconds. At the top of global naval rankings are countries with the ability to design, build, and operate nuclear-powered attack submarines, SSNs, advanced weapon systems that are fast, stealthy, and nearly impossible to intercept. Even more extreme are nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, SSBNs, tasked with patrolling the deep oceans on continuous, undetectable deterrence missions. According to Global Data's Submarine Market Forecast 2024 to 2034, the global submarine market, valued at $37.3 billion in 2024, is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of 4.4% over the forecast period. In today's video, we'll explore the top 5 countries making the biggest investments in nuclear submarine fleets, from cutting-edge technology and massive defense budgets to ambitious global strategies. That who's leading the race? Who's quietly rising? Let's dive in and find out right now. As a newcomer to the nuclear submarine arena, Australia has embarked on a bilateral plan to develop SSN capabilities through the AUKUS security partnership, with significant support from both the United States and the United Kingdom. Under this framework, the Royal Australian Navy is set to operate up to 3 Virginia-class nuclear-powered attack submarines, SSNs. The first pillar of AUKUS will culminate with the U.S. selling Virginia-class submarines to Australia in the early 2030s. Australia is expected to acquire and operate up to 3 of these SSNs, each capable of at least a decade of service, with an option to purchase 2 additional submarines of the same class. Following that, Australia will transition to the SSN AUKUS design, a joint development program with the United Kingdom to produce a new generation of SSNs that will eventually replace the existing Astute and Virginia classes. The UK plans to deliver its first SSN AUKUS by the late 2030s, while the first Australian-built SSN AUKUS is expected to be delivered in the early 2040s. Additionally, the US, UK, and Australia may adopt a shared torpedo system. Currently, US and British submarines operate with heavyweight Mark 48 and Spearfish torpedoes, which have ranges between 35 and 56 kilometers and warheads weighing approximately 300 kilograms. Other areas of commonality may stem from US-based technologies, including shared combat and control systems, sonar, and intelligence-gathering sensors. According to Global Data Analysis, Australia's spending on AUKUS, already resulting in multi-billion-dollar investments into US and UK defense industries, is projected to grow from nearly $3.6 billion in 2024 to about $6.4 billion by 2034. In total, Canberra is expected to commit $52.8 billion over the next decade to acquire nuclear-powered attack submarines. China's defense spending has seen a compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of 7.5% between 2019 and 2023, reaching $230.3 billion in 2023. It is projected to grow at a CAGR of 6.6%, reaching $323.7 billion by 2028. Over the 2024 to 2028 period, the Chinese Ministry of Defense is expected to allocate around $1.4 trillion toward military hardware procurement and overall force modernization. Out of this, more than $36.6 billion will be dedicated to the acquisition of nuclear-powered attack submarines, SSNs, and ballistic missile submarines, SSBNs. Annual spending on these assets is forecast to rise from $2.6 billion in 2024 to over $4.3 billion by 2034. According to Naval Technology, China currently possesses the world's largest navy. The People's Liberation Army Navy, PLAN, operates a large fleet of diesel-electric submarines, but has steadily expanded its nuclear submarine capabilities since the early 2000s. This includes the commissioning of 2 Type 093 SSNs between 2006 and 2007, followed by 4 upgraded Type 093A variants between 2012 and 2017. Plan also fields nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, SSBNs, including four Type 094 boats commissioned between 2007 and 2021, and two newer Type 094A variants introduced in 2020. Additionally, one older Type 092 SSBN, commissioned in the 1980s, remains in limited service. China is also developing the next-generation Type 096 SSBN, with two submarines currently under construction. It is likely that more are planned as part of the country's broader shift toward nuclear propulsion across its submarine fleet. Furthermore, an unspecified number of Type 095 SSNs are reportedly under development. The Bohai Shipbuilding Heavy Industry Company, a subsidiary of China's Shipbuilding Industry Corporation, is widely considered the most likely candidate for leading the production phase of these advanced submarines. In a major step to strengthen maritime security, India's Cabinet Committee on Security, CCS, approved the domestic construction of two nuclear-powered attack submarines, SSNs, under Project 75 Alpha in late 2024. This project forms part of a much broader investment strategy aimed at enhancing India's undersea capabilities. Analysts estimate that India will spend around $31.6 billion over the next decade on acquiring various types of submarines. Of that amount, approximately 30.5% will be allocated specifically for Project 75 Alpha SSNs. India is expected to acquire a total of 6 SSNs under this program, with an estimated total cost of $17 billion. With their sustained underwater endurance and formidable strike capabilities, nuclear-powered attack submarines will allow India to project power across the Indo-Pacific region, while also contributing to the country's push for self-reliance in critical defense technologies. When paired with the Indian Navy's P-8I anti-submarine patrol aircraft, these SSNs will significantly enhance India's ability to detect and monitor submarine activity across the Indian Ocean. Russia is a long-standing leader in nuclear-powered submarine development, with decades of experience dating back to the early stages of the Cold War, surpassing even its surface fleet in strategic importance. The Russian Navy's submarine force serves as a formidable deterrent, backed by the country's advanced capabilities in design, manufacturing, and maintenance through its robust defense industrial base. According to 2024 data from Global Data, Moscow is expected to spend nearly $35.5 billion over the next decade on submarine procurement. While much of the defense budget is currently directed toward land warfare, the critical role of Russia's SSN and SSBN fleets ensures that consistent investment is maintained in this essential deterrence capability. The Russian Navy fields a significant nuclear submarine force, including 1 Loshera-class SSN up to 4 Yazan-class SSNs, 7 Boryai-class SSBNs, commissioned in 2003, 2013, and since, as well as legacy platforms such as up to 9 Akula-class SSNs, 6 Oscar II-class SSNs, and 2 Sierra II-class SSNs. In terms of current and future procurement, Yazan-class SSNs are gradually replacing older attack submarines, with a total of up to 12 planned. Likewise, up to 14 Boryai-class SSBNs are expected to be acquired. The Boryai-class submarines displace 14,700 tons surfaced and 24,000 tons submerged. Each carries 16 RSM, 56 Bulava missiles, with 6 to 10 nuclear warheads per missile and a range of up to 10,000 kilometers. A single Bulava missile can deliver up to 1,000 kilotons of explosive power, equivalent to 67 Hiroshima atomic bombs. While the U.S. Navy has long ceded numerical superiority in surface combatants to China's rapidly growing naval fleet, the submarine domain remains an area where the United States retains a decisive advantage over its newest global rival. America's massive defense budget allows for spending on a scale unmatched by most nations. According to global data, the U.S. defense budget rose by 10.7% in 2023, reaching $818.8 billion, up from $739.5 billion in 2022. The 2024 National Defense Authorization Act, NDA, projects a further 2.8% increase, bringing the total to $841.4 billion, not including additional expenditures by the Department of Energy and the National Nuclear Security Administration. By 2028, U.S. defense spending is expected to hit $931.60 billion of this total. The U.S. is forecast to invest approximately $213.9 billion over the next decade in nuclear-powered submarine programs. Currently, the U.S. Navy operates around 24 Los Angeles-class SSNs, first introduced in the 1970s, 62 built in total, 3 Seawolf-class SSNs, commissioned in 1997-23 Virginia-class SSNs, the latest design, with plans to expand the fleet to 66 submarines if the full production run is completed in terms of ballistic missile submarines, SSBNs. The U.S. Navy operates 14 Ohio-class SSBNs, the backbone of America's sea-based nuclear deterrent, 4 converted Ohio-class SSGNs, armed with cruise missiles. The Columbia-class SSBN program is set to replace the aging Ohio-class. A total of 12 Columbia-class submarines are planned, with the lead boat expected to enter service around 2031. Each Columbia-class submarine displaces 20,800 tons and is armed with 16 Trident D5 nuclear missiles. Each missile can carry up to 8 W-88 warheads, each with a yield of 475 kilotons, roughly 32 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The Trident D5 has an operational range of 12,000 kilometers. The estimated cost per Columbia-class submarine is around $9.15 billion, with the total life cycle cost for the entire class projected to reach $347 billion. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos.